Hey everybody. I know it's a bit soon for me to do another video since I normally do it once every week or once every couple weeks. But I thought about something this morning, and this is something I've been thinking about for a while that I thought I might make a video of. Now keep in mind, I'm going to tell like it is and say what I truly think because that's all I can do. And this is probably going to be a video with a trigger warning, but to be honest, I really don't give a shit. I'm just going to say it like it is. Now here's something that I come to understand. Is that why is it that some people are more successful in life as far as or marriage, as far as their job and career, as making money and getting what they want out of life? And why is it that some people are not very successful or just end up failing in life? Okay? Now, this kind of ties in to one thing that one of my favorite YouTubers, Nino Brown, said. He said, the difference between rich and poor is information. See, he has this idea that the reason why people are poor is because they don't have the information to get rich. Whereas people who are rich have information to get rich. But I think it's a lot deeper than that. I think that the two main reasons why some people just don't succeed in life is because of fear and laziness. Okay? There's one thing that I learned about being successful and making things happen is that you gotta have the balls to do it. I was watching this one interview on Vlad TV of this guy named Dan Pena. He's a multi-millionaire who makes a living coaching billionaires around the world. And one of the things that he said is this, is that success is 90% brain, and no, not, success is 10% brains and 90% balls. All right? What he basically means is that you might have the greatest idea in the world to do something that's going to make you successful or help change people's lives. But if you don't have the balls to do it, it's not going to happen. You know, I remember I saw this one video on YouTube of this guy who supposedly is the smartest man in the world, who has an IQ of 200. You know, and he is just a regular guy who works in several jobs in construction and whatever. And he spends his off time developing these scientific theories similar to what Albert Einstein and Isaac Newton were doing. But he's not an official scientist. He's not going ahead and putting things forward and being able to put his ideas more so into a reality. Because as far as I can see, he didn't have the balls to do it. Now let's get to something else. When I was in school, now I know school doesn't necessarily mean, oh, if you do well in school, that means you're smarter. I don't necessarily think that's the case. But here's the thing I noticed when I was in school. Relating to what Nino Brown said about the difference between rich and poor is information. This is it, is that in school, you might be teaching kids information, but if they don't have the work ethic to actually go ahead and retain that information and use it, that doesn't make them any smarter. When I was in school, I always noticed this. There were very few kids that had A's. There were some kids that had D's and F's. And then everybody else was B's and C's. Why is that? Well, the reason why that's the case is because a lot of people, more or less an extent, especially with kids in school or people in general, they just do what is just good enough in life. A lot of people just basically what they want to do, instead of developing a career to make as much money as they want and to do what they want, they just want to work in a regular job, do what's good enough in school, and then work in their regular job until they're able to retire after they've been paying their bills for so many years, and looking how there are certain people that are doing bigger and better things with their lives and saying, how come I can't be that? Well, you can be that, but you're too lazy. That's why you're not doing bigger and better things with yourself, is because you don't have the work ethic. You don't have the work ethic to do it. See, all information is available. You can go to a library, and you can go to a bookstore, or you can go online and watch videos on YouTube or whatever on how to become a better person and live your best life and to make more money. But a lot of people don't choose to look into it and put into action because they're too lazy to do it. You know, a good work ethic is pretty rare. You know, most people are just lazy. Most people just do what is decent. That is the highest level of their expectations for themselves. But also the thing is that a lot of the reason why people don't want to challenge themselves and live a better life is because they're afraid to do so. That's why I notice people come to a point in which they become comfortable doing things a certain way. All right? This is one thing I notice. There are some people who are very destructive. They keep going backwards in life. Drugs, alcohol, poor financial decisions, and their lives just keep getting worse. There's some people that just keep challenging themselves and moving forward and progressing in life, and everyone else just stays in between. Most people really do not want to challenge themselves or change themselves in order to become better, because they are afraid of changing the way that they're used to living. Okay? See, change, if you're going to change for the better, involves having to take a good look at yourself and realizing that you have certain things that you need to replace in your life, as far as how you handle yourself and who you hang around with and what you do. But a lot of people are too afraid to lose these things that they're used to doing and they're used to having. So they just keep things the same, and their lives don't get any better and they don't change. And that's just how the vast majority of people live until the day they die. No, it's like, for me, back to what I was saying in one of my previous videos. You know, I went through a lot of serious changes and challenges in my life that made me become a better person. Recently, like I said, when I was going through my struggles, in which I became very depressed and suicidal because of stuff that was going on with my family, stuff that was going on with me as far as not knowing what I wanted to do with myself and what direction I was going in my life, in which I felt as though my life was completely going to shit. You know, I thought I was about to take myself out at one point. But seeing this, you know, my family decided to go ahead and put me into the hospital so I can get help. But I was only there for a certain amount of time, and I knew that being in the hospital for 2 weeks in a psychiatric unit for people who are depressed and suicidal wasn't what was going to help me. So I decided that I would go ahead, given the fact that no one else really in my family wanted to help me out or take me in because of all their issues and problems, I decided to go into a rehabilitation program over at this rescue mission called the Kuchelvai Rescue Mission in India. They had a couple different programs. They had one program called Gateway and one program called New Life. So Gateway was a short-term 6-month program in which you stay there for 6 months. You are assigned to a certain volunteer work program, and you spend your time creating more structure, creating better values, and abandoning or replacing the acts or your whatever you were doing that got you there to be homeless to begin with. And then there was a long-term program called New Life, which was a 9-month program which involved all that, but was more intensive and involved reading the Bible, going to more of the Christian lifestyle. I didn't really want to do that at first, but I stayed in Gateway for 2 weeks, but it was filled up with guys who were a bunch of idiots. You know, I hung around with some guys who were very flaky, manipulative, and just bad energy. Most of the guys that were in there, they didn't make it. They did not last. You know, I said before that I saw a lot of guys come and go in the programs. Most of them came from Gateway. Most of the guys in there eventually got kicked out real quick because they got back to smoking dope, doing drugs, drinking alcohol, or getting into altercations with their case manager or with someone else, or being too lazy to show up to their work volunteer position, among other things. And it's like, I don't want to be around this. And I heard about in New Life that although it's a Christian program, it has a better results as far as turning people's lives around. And I felt as though I needed a longer term program in order to help change things around my life. And I thought, look, I may not be religious, but maybe I can go ahead and at least get something out of it. So I went into the New Life program where I stayed for the rest of the time. And I was around guys who had more positive energy and guys who were more serious about changing themselves. There were some guys that eventually got kicked out, but there were more guys there that were more serious about changing themselves for the better because they were sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they wanted to go ahead and put in the effort and abandoning their fears of what they had in the past in order to change themselves around. So it was a great thing for me to be around. I mean, it didn't convert me to Christianity, to be honest. I mean, I'm not a religious person. I don't believe in the Bible. I don't believe in religion, period. But at least, you know, I learned good principles within the Bible. Although I knew already a lot of them, I just took in what makes sense to me and leave the rest of the stuff aside. That's just how it was. So, and as I said before, when I was working in the mission, I worked in the kitchen, and then I found out cooking isn't something else I would really want to do with my life, so I had a new career potential. And I said, when I get out, I'm going to go ahead and work in several restaurants, work in different positions so I can develop more experience in the kitchen, and then later on, after I develop enough experience and knowledge and save up enough money to put up and open my business, then I'll do that. So that's it. You know, I had to change myself and abandon the fear of being able to change myself and put in all the work in order to change myself for the better when I was there. Because if I did it, I would have ended up like the vast majority of the idiots that were there. You know, if I fucked up in there, and I also knew if I fucked up in there, I wouldn't have anywhere to go. Because if I screwed up there, you know, my family would be very disappointed in me, and they wouldn't be able to help me out. So if I didn't put in the work and chose to be fearless in order to change myself, I probably still wouldn't be here. Because I knew that I wouldn't even last down the streets where these guys were so used to living. I've been around some homeless people. Some of them They're sincere, but a lot of them are vipers. A lot of them you just can't trust. You know, like I hear in Skid Row in LA that the vast majority of crimes which happen around Skid Row is done by homeless people onto other homeless people. So I'm thankful for the opportunity that staying at the mission has given me, but it involved me rehabilitating myself and putting in the work to do so. And I'm much more happy and confident with myself and where I'm going in my life than ever before. But that involves me not just retaining and receiving information on how to lead a happier, more successful life, but it involves having the balls to do it, and also putting in the work to do it and being willing to work. Because that's the thing. Everything worthwhile in life involves work. You gotta realize this. Nobody owes you nothing, and this world does not care about you. If you want anything better for yourself, you gotta put in the work to get it on your own. And if you don't like it, you're not gonna succeed in life. That's just how it is. So I put it this way, is that the smarter, more self-motivated, and harder working you are, and of course if you're responsible and if you have a good attitude in life, the better off you're going to be. But the dumber and less self-motivated and lazier you are, more irresponsible you are, and the more of a bad attitude you have, as I seen with a lot of guys that were over at the mission, then the worse off you're going to be in life. So, that's just how it is, guys. You give yourself the opportunity to make a better life. No one else is going to give it to you. You got to go ahead and put in the work. And you also got to go ahead and be fearless to be able to put in the work and to better yourselves. That's what I thought I had to say this morning. Just something that I've really thought about and that I'm really, really wanting to get off my chest. Let me know if you guys agree. If you like what I have to say, then it's cool. And if you don't like what I have to say, well, tough fucking shit. Because that's just how life works. Okay? You don't like what I have to say, you're probably just some lazy motherfucker who's working at McDonald's wondering, when am I going to get a better paying job? Well, go and look for a better paying job. Or get a career going. Figure out what you can do to make better money and live your best life. No one's going to give it to you. Alright? Anyways, peace out, everybody. You have a nice day.